Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, YouTube, to more MSQ playthrough. We are in Dawntrail, and we just defeated Valagarmanda. And Wuklamad got her second keystone. Not second keystone, but like the second keystone in the area. So let's go ahead and hop into it. I don't think Vorporia and his brethren will have a sudden change of heart about Tuliolao. But that doesn't mean they'll never change at all. Today is proof of that. I think it's time we return to Tuliolao. After scaling Tural's tallest mountain and battling a legendary beast to the death, even dauntless heroes like you could possibly use a rest. In any case, there are preparations to be made before we can visit the next destination laid out in the saga. The respite would be most welcome. I believe I hear the forward cabins calling our names. This dude's so tall he wasn't even in the picture. This is what the Yakui used to be, before disease brought them asunder. Promise of peace is next. Got a nice big thing of coffee here. It's gonna be a good day. Rest well, everyone. We can meet back here later on. I have a small errand to run in the city, so I'll leave you to recover. Will you be heading to the palace, Wuklamad? Wuklamad, did you hear me? Lost in our own little world, it seems. Well, no matter. I'll be back soon enough. An attendant is standing by to unlock your cabin. Enjoy your stay. What a bop, dude.
You have a moment?
Actually, this is the first time I've been in this cabin.
There's something I wanted to talk to you about. So, it's just too stuffy in here, that's what. We should go outside. Aye, a nice walk in the fresh air. That's what we need.
Sorry to track you away from your nice, comfortable cabin, but I could feel the walls closing in. Oh, I know. I'll take you to one of my favorite places in Tuliolao. That should help me get my thoughts in order. We'll go to the Resplendent Quarter and make our way up from there. Eshua, what are you doing up and about? Is your back feeling better? It's much healed now, so don't make a fuss. Besides, I can't be lounging in bed all day when you're out there fighting your hardest to win the throne. You're the claimant with the greatest love for peace. I love this nation of ours, and lending you my support is the least I can do. When I see your smile like that, how can I not be encouraged? Oh, there's plenty more who believe in your cause. I can recruit a whole battalion of smiling faces if you think it'll help. Yours alone is more than enough. Thank you, Peshwa. And thank you, Third Promise. I shall pray for your success in the contest. All those smiling faces. Sorry. I'm getting distracted. It's just that with the progress we've made in the contest, even these everyday encounters feel that much more special. Do you think we can take our time and maybe wander around a little first? Then we can head to that spot I was thinking of.
This is much better. I used to come here all the time when I was little. I'd look out over the whole city, and whatever worries I had would seem so small. Do you remember what I said at the top of Orkor Zormor? That I would fight to preserve Papa's peaceful Tural? Well, I've been thinking a lot since then about what peace really means. If it's just the absence of war. And it brought to mind all the best parts of our journey so far. I realized nothing gives me greater joy than the happiness of others. Life has its ups and downs, but the company of family and friends and the music of their laughter is what makes it worth living. And as silly as it might sound, I've come to believe that those smiling faces are the best measure of peace.
You wish for a world like that in the Yakoi's dream? No, that's sort of the thing I'd expect you to say.
Really? I feel proud somehow. It's an answer I arrived at by trying to be true to myself. That you think I succeeded, it means a lot. So, this is my plan. When I become Dawn Servant, I'll build on Papa's peace. Our people will live together in happiness. It's just like Kryl said. By taking the time to hear their concerns, understand their feelings, and consider how best to serve, with each passing day, I'll be that much closer to becoming the leader I want to be. It's hard for me to say how much I've changed since the contest began. But there's one thing I can say with confidence. I wouldn't have come this far without you as allies. If it wasn't for you all listening and feeling and thinking along with me,
Bro, stop.
I would have never learned so
Stop,
much.
you weren't there.
Not in so short a time. There are 2 keystones left. After everything that's happened, and imagining what could happen, are you still willing to walk this path with me? Thank the gods for that. Well, I've nothing else to get off my chest. I need to head to the palace, but I'll see you back at the cabins.
Nice. Nice camera cut through there. I used to be able to sleep on my back like that. Can't do it anymore. You look to be in good spirits. I assume your leisure time was well spent. I was glad to snatch some quality sleep myself. After all, it would be soon to be back to the road for us. I'm sure the others will be along shortly. I do hope everyone has rested well. Now that we have refreshed ourselves somewhat, let us consider all claimants as they currently stand. Zerel, Jah, and Kona have completed every feat thus far and hold 5 keystones apiece. Uklabat would be equal with them, but for Bakul Jaja's thievery, which has left us 1 short. That conniving Baggart didn't so much as lift a finger for the feat of proof and wreaked havoc for the feat of ice. He can't have more than 3 keystones at most. He may think he simply steal what he needs to win, but he's sorely mistaken. I will be taking back what is mine, this I swear. I fear that reclaiming your keystone may not be enough, that is, if Bakul Jaja's unleashing of Veligramanda is any indication. Using his lead, I anticipate that he will move to obtain the remaining keystones before disrupting his rival's attempts. We may all find ourselves being forced to take from one another. I can't say I'd be comfortable with that. But neither will I surrender my claim to the throne so easily. If it's for the sake of preserving the happiness of my people, I'll do what I must. The last 2 keystones we require are those of the Lay of Repast and the Lay of the Brotherhood. The former depicts the cessation of hostilities between the Mamulja and the Zabra in the forest of Yaktel, specifically near a village called Brax. That's where I was born, if you recall. I haven't been there since Papa took me in when I was a baby. Where the lay of the Brotherhood takes place, however, is unclear. In this saga, it is said that a foreign explorer came seeking an audience with the Dawn Servant, but little more than that. Eorzea has a similar tale. The explorer Ketenram befriended a two-headed king known as the Autarch before commencing his travels across Tural. He journeyed here several times afterwards, but was ultimately lost at sea. At least that is the commonly held belief. Your two-headed king certainly sounds like Papa, so this Ketenram fellow must have come to Tulialao. But if he indeed arrived some 80 years ago, the capital may not have been built yet, vestiges of Yokoi architecture notwithstanding. Wait, you said Autarch, didn't you? Then Keterar must have met the Dawn Servant in Mamuk. Mamuk? Is that a city? One of the grandest in Turao, once upon a time, and the seat of the Mamulja's homeland. It too lies in Yaktel, not far from Ikbrax. Then all things considered, Yaktel seems the obvious choice for our next destination. From here, the safest method to travel it is by dirigible. We should make for the landing once our preparations are complete. We're riding in one of Kona's balloons? They can't be any worse than ships, can they? I wonder if there's a Ethernet I can take there? There is. The next flight to Yokta will be leaving shortly. Passengers are asked to keep hands, legs, and luggage inside the dirigible at all times. Are we sure that that thing will stay in the air? All the way to Yaktel? Are you ready? Bags packed and goodbye said. There's no going back once we lift off. Not that I'm nervous or anything, I'm just making sure that you're not nervous. Oh, am I kidding? My knees won't stop shaking. Hey, will you hold my hand? Just until I've settled my nerves. Of course. You're the nicest person I've ever met. I'll try not to crush your hand. There she is. Third promise. Wait just a moment. Blue and Tobly. Of course. I'll wait as long as you need. Sorry to delay you, but we were able to discover the origin of Krau's earring. Is that so? You said before that it gained popularity in York Turao as a protective ward for the travelers, correct? That's right. We tracked down the elderly merchant to whom first sales are attributed. According to him, the design imitates an accessory worn by a foreign mage he met at a market some 20 years ago. Little did he know that charming taste of salt would prove to be a commercial triumph. A foreign mage wearing this earring could only be grandfather. Did the merchant happen to mention which market? One in Yaktel, where it seems you are already bound. What luck. Then I shall seek my next clue once we arrive. Is it mere coincidence that brought my grandfather there, or yet another discovery to look forward to? Thank you both for coming all this way. Anything for the third promise. Good luck with the rest of the ride. Thanks. I won't let you down. I've just got to board this dirigible and I'm as good as there. Last call for passengers to Yorktown. I really hope she wins. Victor will test her mettle without a doubt. The next Dawn servant must be willing to bear the full weight of this nation's history, no matter how heavy it may be. Whoa.
The fierce Chapral hunters who laid claim to this land call it the Azure Forest, Yaktel. Battered by meteors in ancient times and colored mesmerizing shades of blue and green by nature, it is easy to understand why the place is so named. It is here, where the Chapral and Mamulja once battled for dominance, that the right of succession would reach its climax.
Are you all right?
I've never been good with heights.
The vegetation is far denser than in Cozumauca.
I suggest you pay more attention to the ground, unless you want to walk straight into a cenote.
A cenote?
Sinkholes filled with rain and groundwater. Many meteors fell here long ago, it is said, and after they struck the Earth, it became susceptible to erosion. Deep as some of the pits are, you'll not climb out in a hurry should you take a tumble. So, don't take a tumble.
Everyone's looking at her.
It was one time.
Is the Chapral community depicted in the Lay of Repast close by?
Aye. We need but follow the path a short way west.
Right. I can't stand here with my knees knocking forever. Let's get going.
With thicker vegetation comes reduced visibility. I advise you to keep someone inside at all times. And then everybody disappeared. You want to go, chipmunk? Oh, it's a... What are those things called? They're illegal to have in California. Well, flying squirrels. I forget what they're called. Necrosis. Very cool looking enemy. Good, everyone's accounted for. Ikbrax is up ahead, let's be on our way. Where is everybody? Okay, now I'm starting to see some people. I was like, damn. Erenville was not exaggerating about the cenotes. It would be a grueling ordeal to climb out of one. Well, thankfully we made it here without incident. Let's not dally any longer. Ready to head on in? Our first task should be finding the Elector. Hopefully our relative tardiness will not reflect poorly upon us. The third promise and her retinue, I assume. You presume right. I seek the Dawn Servant's Elector. Then come and join us in the Garden of the Stars at the village center. Everyone is waiting for you. Everyone? And who might that be? There is but one way to find out. Come, let us follow him.
At last, we are graced by the presence of the third promise.
Your face is dumb.
If I'd known we'd be waiting on your mangy hide,
You don't get to
I
speak.
wouldn't have bothered with Ligarmanda in the first place.
You self-serving piece of weaver dung! Do you have any idea how many could have been hurt?
Now that we are assembled, let us begin. My name is Hunmuruk. As Ibrash Rash, I have the honor of serving as Elector on behalf of my people. As all four claimants must be present for this feat, we have eagerly awaited your arrival. Third promise. If you would please join us. Thus far, you have faced each other as rivals. The feat of repast, however, will test your cooperation. You must complete this challenge in teams of two.
I swear to God, if you put us with Bakul Jaja, I'm uninstalling.
What? You expect us to work with one of these weaklings?
Be warned. Only the triumphant team will receive keystones. I advise you to cooperate with your partner. Teams will be decided by lots. Those who draw the same color will be paired accordingly.
Twelve forbid Wuklamat is paired with Bakul Jaja. After all he's put her through, I wouldn't blame her if she did something rash. I might even help.
Yeah.
Claimants, please present your colors. I have red.
He has red.
Blue.
There's blue. What do we have?
Separate teams then. And the rest?
Red.
Oh,
Which means
okay.
Together again, as fate would have it.
victory's as good as ours.
With our claimants thus paired, so too is their opposition.
Not the one head.
Listen well, for the trial that awaits you is as follows. Each team is to prepare a sample of traditional Chebral cuisine. Shibruk Bibil.
And now we must cook. Another ludicrous feat.
So it might seem, but there's bound to be deeper meaning to it.
You don't have to talk to him. You don't have to.
Given that the very future of
Guys,
the nation is at stake,
it's
all
okay.
parts of this rite must have significance.
That's Zoral Jazz boy. We don't acknowledge him. It's okay. Keep him in the corner. When he speaks, it's just air.
Rather promising, wouldn't you say? Indeed. If I were to guess at the significance of the feat, few things reflect the history and development of a culture so clearly as its culinary traditions.
The variety of stewed dishes in Garlean cuisine bespeaks their agricultural roots and cold climes, true.
The peoples we've met on our journey, they've all had different practices involving food and drink. The Hanu replenish their magical energies with reeds, while the Pelu have turned their fondness of beverages into a living. So basically, to know a people's cuisine is to know something of their ways.
With each feat, we have deepened our familiarity with a given community's history and culture. Is this what Father intended for us all along? But a leader with his vision must see that the past doesn't hold the answers we need. It is through embracing innovation, not adhering to tradition, that we will usher Tuli Yolal onto a more prosperous future. The rules are simple. The first team to prepare and partake of satisfactory Shibruk Bivir will be deemed victorious. You will be judged by your sample's taste and appearance, as well as your adherence to appropriate cooking techniques. Kitchens have been made available for your use. Note that you may be asked to retry should your dish fail to pass muster. Let the feat of repast begin.
I've never actually heard of Shibruk Bibil before. What's it like, I wonder?
I wonder if those two are going to go ask people how to make the meal, or if they're just leaving it being like, fuck this feat. We don't need it. How fortunate that this feat's unique stipulations have frustrated Bakul Jaja's attempt to delay us. Serves him right. That's what he gets for endangering my people with his schemes. Why doesn't he just compete fairly? He's plenty strong, and obviously has a mind for strategy, twisted though it may be. I'll never understand him. Putting aside our competition for the moment, allow me to express how glad I am for this opportunity to work together. As I see it, our team possesses a distinct advantage. Of course we do. Any team I'm on is bound to succeed. Precisely. You mean we have an advantage in numbers, yes? Our competition has a team of 6, the 2 claimants, Ryoja and Bakuljaja as lackeys. Whereas we are a team of 9. That's 3 more people than we can mobilize. With the task suitably delegated, it should be a brisk affair to learn the recipe and the simple necessary ingredients. Too easy. Well, we mustn't be overconfident, lest we make a careless mistake that could have been easily avoided. Our first order of business should be determining the recipe for Zibruk Pibel. We can hardly gather ingredients for a dish we know nothing about. Given the nature of this feat, asking for answers directly may prove less effective than simply observing the daily habits of the Jabra people. Let us gather here once we have seen what clues this village has to offer. The recipe for Zibruk Bibo. I wish I could tell you, friend. A dish so delicious is meant to be shared. Alas, we are forbidden from divulging anything. Orders from Hun Muruk himself. But your mentioning it has given me a fierce craving. I only hope there's still Ibruk to be had at the market. We ought to cut our losses and head to Mamuk. This feat is nothing but a fool's errand. You're the fool if you think he won't tan our hides for leather if we dare to return without enough keystones. Besides, we've taken from the house cat before. How difficult I'm literally right here. What are you looking at? Salt liquor? Mind your own business. It's a very bright banana. It's a rainbow banana. An unusually colored banana peel has been neatly arranged on the ground, which appears to be smoking. Oh no, it appears I've gone and dropped my Najul. Jatika banana peel. I could barely see it for all the steam issuing from underground oven. And there's nothing like enjoying a tasty banana while you use the leaves in your cooking. Okay, I feel like I've gone everywhere. What am I missing? A number of spices, some entirely unfamiliar to you, are nestled in a basket. That one's called akiote. We mostly use it to add a bit of color to our most popular cuisine. But its medicinal benefits are significant as well. Sorry, I'm back. What did we discover about Zibruk people? True to your prediction, the villagers were forbidden from educating us directly. However, many were still preparing it as one might a staple dish, and observation of their techniques yielded clues enough. A lady blending local herbs and spices was only too happy to describe the ones I didn't recognize, while neither confirming nor denying any relation to Zabrik Pibil, but one in particular she attributed to all common Zabral dishes, akiote she called it. I see. Then if Zabrik Pibil is indeed a dish ubiquitous as Alphanid claims, we have confirmed our first ingredient. Meanwhile, I did observe a cook bearing bundles wrapped in a leaf of najul, or banana, in certain localities. It would seem the use of subterranean ovens is a commonplace. I saw the same. I think we all know what's inside those bundles then, don't you? Ibruk, without a doubt, whatever that is. As would be expected of a dish called Zibruk Pibil, indeed. So to summarize, this dish is one of Ibruk, flavored with a combination of spices that includes akiote, and steamed underground within najul, or banana leaves. Given our assumptions are correct, we must now learn where and how to procure our ingredients. As a staple cuisine, its ingredients would be close at hand, which is why Tancred and I scouted the surrounding forest while you are exploring the village. Between the locals' vegetation and Wild Brook, we should have everything we need in regards to meat and spices. Leave it to our master gleaner. With that, we should next divvy up our tasks. While with some gather ingredients, others should make ready the kitchen. I can prepare the kitchen. Permit me to assist as well. Our ovens will doubtless require firewood, and I have some experience in its gathering. I too shall be glad to volunteer mine aid. Then the rest of us will gather ingredients. I can make quick work of the spices and herbs myself. I am happy to lead someone to a suitable Ibruk, if they will perform the requisite deed, Alice. As for the Najul leaves, I believe I am capable of acquiring that much on my own. Be warned, you won't find Najul in these parts. They only grow in the Jadika heartland, forests far below these. Such an excursion may be time-consuming. Perhaps we ought to try bartering first. This feat... Why did he go British? This feat encourages our communication with the locals, after all. Lamachi, MSQ, if you would accompany me on my errand. No better way to whet my appetite. Good. Let us be about our task then. Come on, let's go and get those Najul leaves. The sooner we do, the sooner we can eat. Let us see if there are Najul leaves to be had in town. Perhaps the Kukuyanche mentioned might be persuaded to spare us a few. Oh, hello again. Did you need something? Najul leaves. For purposes other than Zibrik Pibil, naturally. Unfortunately, I've just used up my last. We'll have to travel to the lower forest for more. Golmaji Grove is the source of the finest Najul leaves you'll find. Wild variants you sometimes see in city markets can't compare. I see. I had hoped to avoid such a lengthy venture, but if there's no other way to obtain our ingredient, then to the Jadhika heartland we shall go. Allow me to save you the trip. traveling there requires that you go through the Tienbeck Traverse, but it has caved in due to the recent storm, I expect. What? But that means we can't get our Najul leaves. But we can, can't we? If there were no other way of procuring them, you wouldn't have suspended this feat, or else altered its objective. Perhaps. Anyway, I apologize for the interruption, but having overheard your conversation, I felt compelled to chime in. That's very kind of you. Any last-minute advice you'd be willing to share? Only to undertake the feat of repast with an empty stomach. You may find Zebrickpibil to be a delicious but daunting dish to finish. I can wait. Can't wait. Still, if there are no leaves here and we can't travel for more, how are we supposed to gather all our ingredients? These feats are meant to deepen our understanding of the peoples and cultures of Tuliolao. So perhaps there is something about Zebrickpibil that we have yet to learn. Something of significance other than its recipe or ingredients. Oh, I see. Like, who was the first to make it? Its history, that sort of thing. If it's Yaktal's history you're interested in, you should start with the Old War. Between the Zabral and the Mojaja, right? These forests have borne witness to centuries of warfare, the evidence of which remains a scar upon the earth. To know the end of that bloodshed is to know Zebrickpibil. What does Steam de Brook have to do with bloodshed? Precisely the question we must answer. Vexing though such a detour may seem, I can think of no other way to approach this feat. In that case, you may wish to visit the site of a settlement ruined by the war, the village of Ion Asso. It lies a short distance to the east. The village of Ion Asso? Understood. Thank you for your help. Come, let's go and see this place. The village of Ion Asso must be further east. Let us continue with haste. For all we know, our competitors may be on our heels. So this is the village of Ion Asso, or what's left of it. It was a place of light and life. My great-grandfather called it home, in fact. Wookie Voo, I didn't know you were in Yaktal. I was picking up lumber from Ikbraksh when I heard the Third Promise was on her way to the site of deep historical significance. I immediately saw another opportunity to be of service, and so followed you here. Wookivu is a shipwright who came to our aid during the Feat of Reeds. A pleasure. You are a member of the Third Promise Retinue, I assume? For the moment, I suppose I am. My name is Kona. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Kona! Now that's a good name. A familiar name. Where have I heard? Kona? As in the second promise of Tulialal? To think that I addressed the Dawn Servant's own son as some common retainer. Such disrespect cannot be excused. Please take up your gun and... Oh, come on, not this again. I take no offense, so please do not dwell on it. Alright then, I shan't dwell on it. And right on cue. At least he's consistent? I understand you wish to learn about Zubrik Pubil. While I am forbidden by the Zabrak to divulge any information... It's Zabraj... Zabradz? Zabrak? It's not an X. I think it's more like a Z. Zabraj, Raj? Yeah. To divulge any information regarding its preparation, I would be happy to share what I know of Yocto's history. You'd appreciate that. In its most basic sense, the conflict between the Zabral and the Mamouja was one of land. The Mamouja live in the lower forest, where the thick canopy obscures the sun and the soil is unforgiving to crops. This drove them to covet the upper forest, the home of the Zabral, and they launched a determined campaign to seize it for themselves. Yet advantage ever favors higher ground, and the Zabral forces held the upper hand against the invaders, rebuffing them time and time again. But as the state of this village would attest, the tide eventually turned. What brought it about? Something you know all too well, blessed siblings. You must understand, the Mamouja were once a people as much at war with themselves as they were with others. The Hubigo, Bunua, and Dapro each sought to assert dominance over the others, even as they engaged the Zabral in battle. In an effort to strengthen bonds and discourage infighting, Hubigo and Bunua leaders arranged a marriage between their children. However, this political measure altered the course of history in ways no one could have ever imagined. It was long before that partners of different clans could not have children together. But then it happened. A child arrived who shared the blood of Hubigo and Bunua both, a two-headed Mamouja. Blessed with tremendous physical strength and magical prowess, he grew into a mighty warrior before eventually arising as the first Artok, ruler of all three clans. Such qualities would dispose anyone to leadership. Stop going British! Such qualities would dispose anyone to leadership, character notwithstanding. Under the Artok's rule, the newly united Mamouja became a force to be feared, and the war soon came to a head. I think it's best you see the results firsthand. Let us visit another battlefield from that time, and then I shall continue the tale. Maybe it's because he's from Charlian. Maybe it's because he went to the studio. Every single time I see him in Charlian clothes, I'm like, oh, I gotta give him a British accent. That's actually gonna do it for us in this block of recording, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Like and subscribe. Take it easy.